So I marked out the wings, the body wings, and so I'm going to just rough cut them right now to get things going. They have had the walnut and Padauk added to them for the proper width. And so I finished cutting the shape in the wings. Got them marked for where they'll be chambered out. This also has a mark on it for where there'll be access from the back with the cover. There we go. Put it all together. Starting to look like a Tuttenbacker. So now it's time to hog out some material from the wings. I already got a little start there, smaller holes, and we're just gonna clear this stuff out and get ready for routing. So here's the plowed out portion for the chambers. Much easier to do that with a Forstner. It's what most people do. And then I'll put the template back on it here in a little bit, and we'll route that out to its final shape. So it's just kind of a test fitting. See where that's gonna go. I like that. So, starting to look a little bit like a Tuttenbacker. We'll see what happens from here. So I'm going to hone in on this cut that I need to make for this shoulder for the drop top to go on. So this has to come down this way, but it's got to be cut there even with the fretboard. And of course, since it's tapered, I have to make sure I take it out of angle. So I'm going to kind of home in on it. I want to see how it goes. That was very curly. So I'm now going to take it. It's close to my line. So that's good. So all I'm going to do now is take a wee fraction of the fretboard. Everything is lined up. There we go. I have a nice flush cut right here. All this, of course, is going to get trimmed away. And I have room for a drop top. I think that worked out pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to try to basically resaw this portion off that I don't want, and hopefully that will go okay on both sides. Let's see what happens. I'm going to use this thing called a safety planer that I got from Stumac. I do a pretty good job of getting this even closer, and then I can touch up with block plane or sandpaper or whatever you do. So let's see how this goes. Surface there, right down to where I need to get. Nope, that's fitting in there pretty close. So, you don't even have to use block plane on that, maybe just chisel. I mean, sandpaper, a little chisel right there. Okay, alright. Well, so far so good. So, I've just taken a blank piece of scrap wood here, and I've got 3/4 inch knobs, 3/4 inch dowel stock I bought of the Padauk. So now I have drilled a shallow hole here and a deeper hole here, shallow hole. I'm going to leave it at the shallow hole right now because it's now lined up. So now that it's lined up, I can put a blank knob in here, press it in, and I know it's going to be lined up. So let's take that out. Go to the 3/4. Now I need that recess at the bottom for covering the screw out, the nut on the pot end. I got this to line it up. Lost the grip on that one. Okay, so now I've got that. Now, I can take the 1/4 inch bit or 6mm, again depending on which kind of pot you have. Get finished on that. Here's a trick. What I need to do is I don't want to go through, so I'm going to get this down. And I won't go through as deep as I possibly can. Through. there's the process. All right. And then take this out, and I'll switch everything around and move this around to where I can hold this at the right spot, and it will seat in there so I can hold it and drill a side hole for the set screw. So now what I'm going to do is just use the deeper hole, the shallow hole for the knobs this way. The bigger hole is just to give me an anchor spot here so I can hold it without it twisting on me. And I've got it lined up to where it's going to come right down on my mark. So let's drill a couple. And there we ended up with a knob that's old, will be tapped for a 440 set screw, 1/4 inch for the knob, or 6 millimeters, depending on which kind of knobs you're doing, which kind of pots you have. And a little recess to go partially over the holding nut for the pot. And now all we gotta do is fix up something and use this as a lathe for sanding purposes, and we'll be on with that. So now I don't have a setup where I can get too close to this, but I've got my hole drilled for the right size for the tap. Lock the tap in there. I'm just going to get it started. And since this is a hardwood, this is going to hold just fine. The knob. So once I kind of get it going here, release it so now I can just, oops. Just keep going to where I can see it going through the inside. And it starts to free up a little bit if you've ever used the tap. It starts to free up when you get past the taper beginning. And now we'll just take that one off. I won't bore you with all of them, but let's go ahead and do the next step after we've done this. So now I've got a 1/4 inch dowel here. I shaved off just a little piece of it to be flat right there. Put that in. I've already put in the set screw, so we'll just tighten that down. Don't go very tight. Now we're gonna chuck that up. Too tight. And now we're just going to run this thing as a lathe and try to clean this thing up. Set screw, and we have a nicely sanded to 220 knob, recessed hole, and a set screw in it. So it's ready for action. Put some finish on it and should be ready to go. I might put a little more of a chamfer on it than that one, but we'll see. We'll see. So marked off the control cavity here on the back. So I'm just going to rough it out, just like I roughed this out before I actually get to router. Okay. So now what I've got to do is, this is trimmed off for binding. Now I need to do is I need to get these slots a little deeper on the edges before I run it over. I won't be able to do that once the binding's on. Make sure that I've got enough room for the frets. So we'll just take care of that. So I decided I'm going to bind the top. I cut some, if you can see them out, some nice tiger maple binding strips going on there. So thought that was the best. I thought about walnut because there is some walnut striping in here, but I decided to go with tiger maple. So here's the 3 pieces I've got cut for that, at least rough cut for that. So the next stage is going to be to glue that on, and not very exciting, so I'll skip ahead a bit. And so here's the binding on the neck, all taped on, waiting for the glue to set up, and then we'll trim it all to fit. And goes good with the tiger maple sides. Little decorative leaf here of the fretboard material right there. That's the way I saw it on Rickenbacker's, the 2 at least that I have. And I've seen lots of other people do that before too. Texas Toast, I think, does that. Anyway, lots of people do it. It's a nice decorative touch, and so what the heck, we're gilding the lily as it is. Might as well keep going. So, got the tape off, everything looks pretty good. Glue up looks good. These are a little proud since I just cut them on the table saw there. So I'm going to take it down a little bit with the block plane and then get this in a little more shape and try to sand it nice and flat. So that's got it kind of cleaned up flush to the board. Now I'm a little proud of the sides, and I'll just take care of that on the router. So we're going to try to clean this up on the router. Good. I think I got my miter's pretty good here at the corners. Worked out well. I think that's going to be. So with the dots, fretboard dots, I'm going to use these mosaic pins like they use on knives. Hard to see in the camera. Here's the 1/4 inch one. Kind of see that. There's an 1/8 inch I'm putting in here. I use the 1/4s for the 12 fret. And so I'm just putting them in one at a time. I have to take them off with a hacksaw. They're stainless and brass. put some tape here to try to protect the fretboard, although it hasn't radiused yet, so all that's going to go away. It's not too worried about damage, but I'm trying to minimize that. And then just super glue them in one at a time, hacksaw them off, and go on to the next one. I got the small dots in. Hopefully, you'll see what it looks like here. Depth on it. I don't know if you can see those or not. It's all mosaic pins. I think that's going to look pretty cool. A little bit of a pain to deal with, but not too bad.